Hello everybody, how's my audio? Can you hear me? Hello everybody. We're just gonna quickly check, do an audio check, make sure everything's working good. Make sure my screen can be seen. Alright, we're gonna let people filter in. We're doing an audio check. Let people filter in. Good, good. Audio is good. Excellent. Thank you, Philip. And screen is good too. Right. Awesome. We'll let people filter in, and then we're going to jump in. Got 7 viewers already. Great. Hey, feel free to say hi in the chat, everybody. I hope you are all having a good week so far and enjoying this absolutely beautiful fall. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and it is absolutely beautiful here. There is so much oranges, reds, and yellows. It's a wonderful time of the year. All right, 4 minutes until we get started. We're letting people filter in. Really excited to work on this one. The last one was so much fun. This one will be equally as fun and challenging. Ooh. Oh, rain is nice though, especially after such a hot summer. How is everybody? Anybody there in the chat? Anyone else there? I know Philip is there. Is anyone else in there? Poke your head in, say hello. We're getting close. Just a few more minutes for people to filter in. Awesome. I'm so excited. My gosh, took me a minute to come up with some interesting ideas for these particular terrain. The last one was great. I was kind of hoping that we would do the same thing we did last time, and that is people who are in the chat can come up with names for each one of these locations. Philip will be sure to document each one of those suggestions for names, and also the user as well. Okay. I'm just going to do some real quick announcements. If you guys haven't checked yet, you should absolutely check the announcements. We released these really cool seasonal stamps. They're basically pumpkin themed. They're really cool. Go check them out. Put them in maybe your Maptober prompts. If you haven't seen Maptober yet, go check out Discord. We have an awesome Discord community. Absolutely amazing. Everyone there is super nice. No one here but us chickens, says Chloe. Hey, that's okay. It's all right to be shy. Not everyone has to be outgoing. Besides, they're here to see the POIs, the points of interest. Okay. Well, 1 minute till. I'm just going to jump in. So let's get started. So last month we made a bunch of terrain videos covering the various styles, right? And what we did is we created the terrain, all the different types of terrain, and this month we're putting settlements on every single one of them. And by settlements I mean points of interest, POIs. I've named each one. We've got Ruins for Hills, Hunter's Cabin, Witch's Hut, Toll Station, Lost Village, Ambush, Campsite, and Bridge. I'm sure some of these are going to be applicable to your campaign, so I made sure to put those in there. Let's go jump right into Ruins right away in the hills. Now don't forget the layout of this thing. There's going to be a plus and a minus sign. That just simply means what layer it's on. FG is the plus sign, BG. So it's just going to be like this if you're following along. FG, 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 and then BG. Okay? It'll be easy to remember. It's just checkered. Okay? Just want to make sure you understand how that works. Alright, so we're jumping into hills. You're using that mouse scroll wheel to zoom in. That's your shortcut keys to quickly zoom in and out. That's so much easier. And don't forget to hold that space bar to pan. I'm pretty sure I say this every freaking time, so if you get bored of that, I apologize. So we're working on hills. Your adventurers have just returned from a village, and they heard that an evil wizard has been stealing children and carrying them off into the forest. So we're going to create a crazy ruin where the wizard's lair is, and where they're going to storing the children for his evil purposes. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and delete that vine that's in the way. I'm thinking kind of like a summoning circle of some kind or something. Maybe more like the ruins of maybe a dark or evil altar of some kind. So maybe that would be kind of cool. Who knows what the wizard is doing there? Use your evil imaginations. Okay, I'm going to make some room. Just going to organize some things, make some room for the ruin that I'm going to make. I'm going to zoom in real close. I'm going to open up the catalog, and that's going to be with the O key for object tool, F key, open up the catalog. And I'm going to go ahead and look for specific stamps that I want. I'm thinking a summoning circle, maybe a broken one would be good. Maybe I can put like an evil altar on there or something like that. I think we have summoning circles. I should just be able to type that right in the search field. And they do have broken ones. Red's kind of menacing. What do you think? Make it kind of big, right? This size looks good. It's already broken up and kind of ruined, so that's nice. I just want to say hi to everyone in the chat. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Tianyi. I don't know how to pronounce your name, and I apologize. And Ayuk Stottelgraf. Oh, what a great name. Love it. I'm not good with pronunciation, so I apologize on that. So let's go ahead and add our summoning circle. I might even want to change the color. You can do that with that hue and the filters. Give it some menacing evil color. I don't know. Green is nice. Purple is nice. I don't know. Purple and green's a good palette. So let's keep maybe purple. We don't need any kind of shadow of any kind. That's fine. I'm just going to place it in the center here, and I'll even probably add some stone because this is going to rest on some kind of stone foundation. So go over to the brush tool, B key, F key, open up that catalog. And I think cobblestone would be a good choice for this, and not just any kind of cobble, but maybe a particular, like a mossy kind. There should be a mossy stone. This one right here, mossy rocks, that'll work. Of course, you're going to have to change that size. Just going to scale it down till it looks about right. I usually just like to use the stones that are in the summoning circle as kind of a scale reference. About that size looks good. And we're also going to drop that opacity. Bring it way down. And let's use the edgy brush just for fun. As you know, if you haven't seen my streams before, if you're going to do that edgy brush, make sure that opacity is nice and low. Okay, because what happens with the edgy brush is there's no softness around it or anything like that, so it's going to be a hard edge. The lower the opacity, the better. It does mean a couple strokes. Don't forget to drop also the feature size down to 3, otherwise the the segments are going to be huge. So make sure they're kind of small, and you can have the smooth on or off. I'm going to turn it off. For some reason it's not showing off. Okay, and I'm also going to drop my brush size down. Do 1 stroke. Make sure it's set to FG. You can switch between FG with 1 and 2 key. So make sure it's FG, and we'll just apply that first stroke. And if it's not enough, then all you got to do is just bring it up a little bit more. So let's take it up to a higher one. Let's try 36, just see how it looks. And I can kind of see that stone. That's good. So a couple strokes. And like I said, if you don't want to do multiple strokes, then just bring up the opacity so that way you see more of it. And I'm going to make the stone the most opaque, or the most visible is just right beneath the summoning circle, and then it kind of is a little less transparent, or a little more transparent the farther away that you go from it. Okay. And then we might even want to consider changing some things with this summoning circle. Let's go ahead and type it into the search so I can find it. Should be a summoning circle. Oh, it's not there. Okay. 1 second. There it is. And maybe even drop the contrast just a bit and the brightness. Because these lines are rather thick and heavy, so dropping that contrast kind of makes them into a middle gray instead of this dark black. Okay, there's that. Now I'm also going to create some staircases that kind of lead up to this position. So that's kind of nice, and maybe one of them can even be broken because the theme is ruins. And of course, an evil wizard who likes to snatch children is probably going to choose some ruined, dilapidated place because, hey, that's what the bad guys do. They always pick a location that's kind of scary. It's, you know, no one chooses a vacation spot for their evil lair, right? I mean, that's not scary, right? Got to make it scary. So we'll add in some stairs. Just top it right there in the search bar. And I think things going to load a little slow because I'm doing it in 4K. I want you to see everything in that nice crisp detail. And there are different stairs that you can use. I like to use these brick railing stairs. And these smaller segments are nice because you can piece them together incrementally in small degrees so that you can kind of create this interesting staircase. Let's actually use the curved stairs for fun, and we're going to also use a luminosity blend mode so that it kind of catches a little bit of the texture that's beneath, and the blend modes are right here in the left panel. You'll see the default is set to normal. I'm also going to turn off the blend mode. Not the blend mode, but the shadow. Don't really need it, and we'll switch it over to luminosity as well. We're going to place it. Pick an interesting place, let's say right here. And as you can see, it's caught up that blend mode, so that's super. The luminosity blend mode catches the texture beneath, which is extremely helpful. Let's say there, they go up this way, and let's move this moss so there's a little bit more room for them to walk and come up. And I might even want to change the contrast on this because it seems so bright. Also drop that brightness. And it kind of looks like the stair is a little bit more natural, kind of connected. It's even got some of the brown, the dirt, and the moss growing on the stone. So that's kind of nice. And the last thing that you can do just to make some good connection is to use another stone texture, because if you look at this, it's a strange transition between this kind of hill and this staircase. So how do you fix that? You can do that by using a regular brick or stone texture. So just go B key, O key, open it up. Oh, that's O key. Oopsie. I want a B key. Why did I do that? Don't do that. And this one right here looks pretty nice, this mossy tile. And you're probably going to have to change the size. And I'm using the stones and the stairs as a reference. And I'm also going to rotate it to line it up with it as well. I'm not sure entirely if that angle is correct. Let's try that. And I think also I might have to drop that brightness down. It looks pretty bright. And let's verify if that's correct. I'm going to use the edgy brush, drop the opacity down, and we'll just do one stroke just to see how it looks. And that doesn't look entirely right. It's a little too dark. Let's undo that and then change over to a soft brush. Sometimes the edgy brush doesn't always work for blending. So you have to switch your brush, just knowing whatever to switch to. I'm also going to change that brightness way too dark. That's a total mistake on my end. Let's just see, it still looks kind of dark. I guess we could add some of the texture underneath it as well so that you can retain some of that color. That looks about right. Okay, and then maybe rotate it one more time to line up with the bottom of the stairs, so there's at least some stone at the bottom. And again, you're rotating them to kind of line up with the angle at each end, this edge here and this edge here, so it kind of goes well together. There you go. So the stairs go up into here, and if you want, you can even rotate the stairs and have them going around like this. Now it's not enough just to have this summoning circle. You might want to use other things. Let's first add a shadow. I know I said to turn it off, but let's go ahead and add one anyway. We're going to go with a really small blur and move it just slightly to the side like this, so it looks like there's some depth there. It's a little dark, so I'll bring the opacity down. Let's zoom out, take a look. So your players are walking through the forest, they find this nice glade, they come upon this hill, and they're looking for that baddie wizard who's been snagging the kitties, okay? He's like the Pied Piper, running off with them kids. Don't let that happen. You go after that wizard, you take him down, and this is the place where it's going to go down. Now to add some more, we can probably add some more menacing things by adding in some standing stones. That might be kind of interesting. So O key, B key. Let's see here. I want to do the O key. Open up that catalog. Let's put standing stones. I think there's some. Let's take a look. Let's see here. Not those ones. I think there are some rune rocks. I can't remember. Let's take a look. Type in rune. Rune stones. That's what I'm looking for. And I want them to be around the same color as this kind of broken summoning circle. So we're going to go to filters and drop that brightness so it's relatively around the same darkness, and strategically place these kind of around. Like one can go nicely here. It seems to go nice in that section there. There's a smaller one you can put here. And what you're doing is kind of making it to where there's these strange hard edges, and all you have is this broken summoning circle. You would expect some more debris, more stones, something else there besides what we already have. So it's just a little extra detail. Let's go ahead and pick this one specifically. Zoom, make it bigger, and then let's add in another one over here like this. And the last thing you can do is go ahead into your texture. So a B key, if I can remember the right key, I keep telling you guys, hey, use this wrong key. Don't do that. Okay, so I think this one right here will work well. There's these rocks. Again, you're going to have to size them down. If you look at the default 100, they're huge. So you have to bring them down quite a bit. About that size is good. And make them darker. Let's take a look. Yeah, about the same darkness as this. So filters, brightness. That looks about right. You want them to be significantly darker than the stone that's on the ground. So at least they're sticking out. They're using contrast. So let's go ahead and just add in a couple rocks. Yeah, more rubble, more destruction. You can expect that from the baddie's place, right? And maybe even put some stones down here. That'll be nice. Yeah. And the last part is to also add some other stones that have some shadow. I know that these ones are lacking a shadow as well. I think these are set to object. Great. Let's change these up. Let's go to 1.5 actually should be good. And we're going to move it slightly to the side. The same thing that I did kind of with these ones, just the same thing. I think this one I missed. Oops. Not bad. Don't make that mistake. Okay, there we go. Stone's good. That looks good. And let's take some of these really small rocks, copy and paste them, and put some small ones. And I want to create more transition as well between the staircase and this texture here. So if you take a couple rocks, take a couple small ones. I think there's actually some smaller ones. Let's check the O key, F key, open up that catalog, rock. Give me the small rocks. There we go. Small rocks, drop the brightness down, and we'll edit the shadow right now. 5, move them slightly to the left because we're trying to stick with some consistency here. Move a little bit out. Okay, there we go. Zoom. Okay, and then make sure they're on top, and have them on top of this staircase so that you have some debris kind of trailing off, and then just randomly place a couple. And don't forget to put a couple on the ground and in the shadow. So you have some rocks. So your players have some places to run around, jump. I don't know, this wizard's going to be using some kind of crazy magic. Maybe they'll be turning the children into his into his slaves, and they will be attacking you. So kind of watch out for that, right? He's a big jerk for using kids to be as his minions. That's pretty cruel. So try not to kill anybody, okay? 55 changes isn't much, but I always encourage you to save. If anyone has any other suggestions for this, I can put some blood and some bodies around. We really want to get this October kind of going. You got to add some blood, some corpses. Maybe failed attempts of previous adventurers to save the kitties that have failed. Hey, that's always a good one, right? Just add some blood, add some corpses, and that just makes everything kind of nicer, right? We're getting dark here. We're getting dark. Okay. It's a little slow to load. Just so you know, if your map is in a 4K resolution, it's going to be much slower to save and to load. So kind of just keep that in mind. Also read that disclaimer when you open something in 4K resolution. There is a little disclaimer there that talks about it's still kind of an experimental feature and not every machine can kind of handle that. So let's quickly just add some bodies, add some blood, and that's going to represent failed attempts by previous adventurers to save the kids. Oh, that doesn't bode well for you and your team, right? So be careful. Let's go ahead and type in corpse. There should be some corpses. Let's go with this one. I think there's some with the Gothic Horror Pack that we just released. Let that pop up. And I know we've got some bodies in here. Might as well use some new ones because they're so good. Where are they? There they are right here. Some cool ones. Alright, so let's go ahead and put some adventurers down where they have failed. And this is a great place also to work with scale. So what are we using? The tree is huge. This person, I'd say about this size, looks good to me. So let's strew some bodies all over the place. Let's put one right there. Yeah, that didn't go well for them. That's not good. Oh, this guy didn't take it too nice. Okay. Oh, they just made it up the stairs and then boom, the wizard took him out. Eesh. Ugh. That's depressing. Let's put one more body. Just say, hey, this person over here got hit because they were trying to hide in the trees and be sneaky. The wizard didn't like that. It was like, I'm taking you down. Alright, let's go ahead and fix those shadows as well. They look huge. That ain't gonna cut muster. Okay, 1.5. And then just move them a little bit to the side like that, just to give it a little bit of depth. Okay, and then we're gonna add some blood. O key, F key, tap in the blood. Yeah. Oopsie, I just remembered. I didn't have all my packs selected, so that's not really gonna help. Okay. Alright. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and place the blood down first. And I'm probably going to put it below. And then I'm also going to change that blend mode. There's quite a few to go through. I kind of like that one. That looks kind of good. It kind of goes well. And then we'll check. I think it didn't retain it. So let's go back to lighten, and then we'll place some underneath this person as well. Ooh, I think I have to go one down. There we go. I want to go below. And then this person too got hit. So close. You didn't save them kitties. And the last bit that we could possibly do is maybe put some kind of a trap door that goes down into it. That might be kind of fun. And I think we have a trap door. Let me check. There's a trap door. Oop, let's have it broken open. We'll put it here in the center. Something like this. It has to be big enough for a person to get down. So kind of scale it up next to a person just to make sure. It's a very tight squeeze, but they can make it down this shaft. Okay, we'll put it on top of here. Oopsie, on top. There we go. And I'm also going to change, again, use that luminosity blend mode so that it's not looking kind of weird. All right, and then I think I might have to do some changes. Let's drop that brightness down. And I don't mind keeping some of that purple. There's kind of a scariness to it. So now there's a shaft that goes down inward, and then obviously you're going to have to create another map. Or that's where the kids are kind of stowed away, and that's where you got to get them. So, hey, kill the baddie first, get down and save damn kids. 14 changes, a save and done. Hey, if any of you have any ideas on what to call this location, please put that in the chat. If you got goofy, fun ideas, I don't care as long as it's not too inappropriate. Okay, so leave your suggestion and Philip will document that, and I'll make sure to label these locations after your ideas. Something fun. All right, we'll save and move on to the next one. It looks like it's my usual 30 minutes on the first one. I generally seem to get carried away on my first panel, it seems. Well, that experience just didn't go well for the last crew that decided to roll up and stop this wizard's child thieving operation. So now it's up to you guys to save damn kitties. Alright, we're going to move on to Tundra and a hunter's cabin. This one's going to be fun. Piecing together walls, and we can keep it simple by just using composites. So we'll go O key, F key, and you can just type in composite, and I think there should be some composite buildings. We can probably just stick with the smallest one. Let's just scroll through and take a look. I think they're going to be probably huge. And I don't want too much. I might have to piece together my own because those are absolutely massive. Let's try this one maybe. Maybe there's a small one with just maybe one room. Okay, that looks... you know, I think I'm going to go... Ooh, the friendly throne. Good one on the suggestion. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to construct my own hunter's cabin instead of using a composite. So I'm going to just type in wall, and there's a bunch of wall options. I'm going to go with probably a frozen one, and I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to use 2 layers of walls for what's going to show as the interior and the exterior. First, I'm just going to piece it together. One thing I'm going to do is probably lock everything that's right here so I don't accidentally select it, because often when you have a populated map and you want to build something, and you're trying to select it while you're constructing it in the negative space or wherever, you accidentally select something. So the way that I usually fix that is just by grouping or just locking everything. So if I go ahead and select everything here and then just click that lock button or Alt L, it will lock everything, and you'll look in the right panel, you'll see everything's locked. So I'm not accidentally selecting anything. And let me tell you, that is an absolute pain when you're trying to work on something and you accidentally select something else, especially if you accidentally group a random stamp to what you're trying to construct and then you're moving it around. Like, wait, what? So lock stuff often. Now this way I don't accidentally select anything when I piece together my walls for my cabin. And I'm also going to make it somewhat larger than the actual size, and I'm doing that on purpose because it's easier to piece things together, easier to line up walls, much easier. So I'm going to use these smaller pieces. I do have a small space to work with. I'm making a very simple square. Hello. A very simple square cabin. Nothing special. In fact, it's 2 of these, so I can actually just use one piece. And if you've ever pieced walls together, you know that that's kind of a pain. We are working on a wall tool, I just want you to know. But for now, until we gift you with with that tool, first you got to learn to just copy and paste, make your basic L shapes, copy, paste, flip, rotate, and it's as simple as that. I'm not making a complex cabin. A hunter's cabin is just a place for the hunter to sleep. It's not a living residence where a person is going to stay permanently. It's just a cabin that you can go and stay for the night and then go out and go hunting. So it's not complicated. There's nothing crazy about it, okay? Just keep that in mind when you're thinking about your hunter cabin. I'm going to make it a little bit more rectangular by adding some last pieces to it. And all I'm going to put in here is probably just a bed, a fireplace, and that is it. Nothing else. Maybe a rug. And I am going to add some walls that are going to be made of wood, and they're going to be not frozen, so that way I can show the interior and the exterior. I don't know if anyone's played Minecraft, but it's the same concept. There is the wall, what it looks like outside, and there's what the wall looks like inside. So there are technically 2 layers. Now you don't have to do this, but if you do, it does look a little better. So I'm going to type in wood, because there's a specific kind of wood wall that I want to use. There's this one right here that has kind of nodules at the end. That works kind of nice. And you're going to make sure to put a layer below these, okay? I'm going to bring them over like this. So there's this wooden wall. I'm going to add in these pieces. And you might have to do some stretching to get that height to work right. All right, and use that other one we did just here. Remember that copy and paste method. So just copy, paste. You'll see they're both there. Rotate them. Don't forget to use that shortcut key. When you're rotating, hold down that shift key to go in certain increments. I think it's 15-degree increments. Yes, I think it is. Okay, so go ahead and add that last wall segment, put it in there. Don't worry about whether or not these are lined up or not. We can get to that later by adding in some other pieces. For instance, I think it's kind of sometimes fun to add in these kitty corner pieces, but they do have to be a layer above if I'm correct. So let's take all these wooden ones and take them down a layer or 2, because I want those kitty corner pieces to be above. So let's take that down 1. I think that should be better. There we go. And we're just going to copy and paste these, kitty corner them in like this. Copy, paste. The beauty of copy and paste, let me tell you. The beauty of copy and paste. Okay, and I'm also going to select all of these stone walls. If you select one, go to select all from the set. You can go ahead and change what the texture or what the shadow is going to be. So I'm going to go with none, and I'm just going to paint it by hand. I'm also going to group every single one of these things together. So this is the wall. I'm going to group like this, and then I'm going to scale it down. And I'm going to take it down also a layer to the point where the shadow kind of is overlapping it. But the thing is that the shadow wouldn't show inside. So you have to put it somewhere else, or you'd have to flatten that shadow and then change the texture. Because what we did here in the last video was make shadows that were elongated, which means you're either close to dawn or dusk. Just for reference, if you have elongated shadow, that's the time of day. I'm going to go ahead and put the cabin here, move it away from those shadows, because I'm not going to do the extra work for that. I'm not going to worry about it. And I do think I need to select actually everything and turn off all the shadows, so there's no shadow whatsoever on any of them. Okay, and I think this is the negative layer, so you can add in with the brush tool or with the rectangular brush like this. You can put this down like this, and you're going to basically try to fit this to fit the shape in. Right, so it fills in the entire thing, and the reason why we're changing the layer is so that you can paint it separately. That way I don't accidentally bleed off into the snow. All right, so just press add, and it should do that. So now you have the add mode, and you're going to want to change that texture. Make sure it's set to the FG1 and 2 keys, right? Open up the catalog F key, or just click that big thumbnail, type in wood. And here's your kind of options for wood floors. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to size it down. And of course, I'm also going to rotate it so it kind of lines up. We could go 2 ways, that way lined up like that, or line it up like this. It really doesn't matter which way you want to do it. It's okay with me. It can be wood or it can be stone. Since I've already got stone there, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to use wood instead. Okay, and just go ahead and again go like this. Make sure you only go over this. Make that to FG, press enter, and there should be the wood inside as soon as it adds it. There we go. Looks good. All right. Once you've made the walls, all you need to do is just add a window and a door and then some interior stuff. Let's zoom in real quick. Where am I at? Oh, we're still doing great for time. Let's go add in a door. So object key and the F key for the catalog. And don't worry, I got a fun story for this one. We're going to add some devilish chaos in here. Don't worry about that. Let's first add our door. Doors can be super confusing. I'm sure people who have worked on doors have been like, oh my gosh, doors are very difficult. They're a pain. I totally know. And there are a couple methods of working on doors. The one is just positioning them properly with your, this is really the quickest way, and just to create the segment by removing some wall segments. So I have these long segments here. You can just delete those segments, copy, paste, put them in like this, and you have an opening right here for your door to fit in. Okay, now if you put the door in the center, you're also going to have less room for things on the side, so you have to think just a little bit about where your door is going to be. Putting it on, considering this size, having the door on the side, a little bit more this way, has room to fit bed, to fit the fireplace. That's all that's really going on in here. At least that's what we think so far. Okay, so we'll add in that last wall segment like this, and I got to remember to turn off that shadow. And let's see here, and then we can stretch that just a hair because we want that kitty corner piece to connect with the wall. So if you just mess with that height just a bit like this, it should connect. And there is one other thing that I recommend that you can do with doors. First, let's place our door where it's going to be. All right, leave the group. Okay. You're trying to fit it into this space like this. You can have it open or closed. Let's just have it closed for now. And maybe we can put something dastardly in there. Now, if any of you have any ideas for what dastardliness should go inside this hunter's cabin, feel free to put that in the chat. Because of course it can't just be an innocent hunter's cabin. Some catastrophe has occurred here, and maybe I can't add in a fireplace. Don't need much. It can be just a regular stove. Let's just say a small stove. Type in stove and one should pop up. There it is right there, a stove. Okay, so this is basically what's going to keep you warm. And we're going to put it right here up against this wall. And let's go down. Bring it down a couple layers down to there. Okay, like that. And I'm obviously going to have to change that shadow. Whenever you scale things down, unfortunately the shadow begins to decouple and changes. So the way to fix that is you just have to change it in the settings. I'm also going to move it just a little bit to the side. Just a little bit of ambient occlusion, just a little shadow to give it this sense of depth. That's what the contrast is for. Okay. All right, there's our stove. We're going to add in that pipe because you got to know where the exhaust is going to be on that chimney, and then we can get down to the dastardliness. We're going to use this dwarven pipe. Works kind of good. There's a nice opening like this, and I'm going to drop that saturation, make it purely gray. Bum, bum, bum. And make sure that it's up like this. Okay. And I don't mind making it just a tad bit bigger as well. All right. That's basically going to be the exhaust coming up. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and quickly put in a really small bed. Maybe just a bedroll. Zombies or person in a bear. Ooh, hey, we got that bear rug. Maybe we can say that the hunter was killed by one of his dead game. Yes! Let's make it a zombie bear pelt that's attacking. It killed him. Yes, I love it. Oh, mad genius. Thank you, Joshua Carver. I like it. Let's do it. Yes. All right. Add in our bedroll. Okay. Person's going to be... Oh, I love it. Is there killer penguins an option? Oh, yes. Hey, killer penguins. Ooh. Penguins are supposed to be cute and cuddly. Don't make them evil. Oh, man, you're taking all the things I love and making them evil. Yes. All right. So Let's do this. And we're going to just fix that shadow. Ah, shadows are just so much fun in Inkarnate now, aren't they, everybody? Okay. Right, now we're going to add a bear rug, and we're going to give it evil eyes and blood and make it look like it ate the hunter. I love it. And yes, killer penguins does sound absolutely amazing. I must see this. We have no penguins, though. But, hey, I'll make sure to request that maybe for this winter. We can ask for some killer penguins. Bloody evil penguins. All right, we're going to look up that bear rug. I'm pretty sure they got one. Oh, but a bear head trophy. But, hey, that's a good idea. Let's put one in there. Because there should be some trophies, right? Oh, the game came back. The game came back to eat your face. Sorry, buddy. Well, that's what you get for hunting for fun. All right, let's add in that bear right there. And I think there should be a rug. Maybe it's under rug. Let's take a look. Oh, come on now. Oh, there it is. Yes. Oh, things are about to get spicy now. Okay. Ooh, well, if I kind of make it, that's about right. Yeah, but it's so big. Oh, I might have to, I'm going to have to bring it down in size a bit. That's just the way it is. Okay, and we'll have to bring it down to the lowest layer. Let's say below like that. And we'll drop the brightness of it just a bit so it's not the same brown as this head. And we can even desaturate it just a hair. Just so it's just a different color. Maybe a darker brown from this light brown. And then we are also going to change the bedding and everything. There's not much space in this little tiny thing. Let's go with just scaling things down just a teeny bit more. So we can fit it in. Like this. Oh, I wish I had more room. Okay, let's go up against here. We might have to just put this all the way up again like that. His butt is kind of, you know, just trying to keep his butt warm by sticking it next to the stove. It's all right. Everyone deserves to, you know, to be nice and warm as they're eating their human meal. Nom, 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 nom. Tastes like chicken. Okay, let's sure. This is going to be fun because there's not much room. I'm just running out of room. I'm sure you've encountered this problem. There's just not enough room. Okay. All right. There should be enough room now. I hope so. I'm praying there. This will fit. There we go. Looks good. And we're going to put a body in, or put blood all over that thing. It's kind of made. Is there a messier one? Maybe like this one. Let me see. You know, I think that one might work better. Something a little bit more ruffled, like there's been the sign of a struggle. But then again, who would ever expect, you know, your bear rug to come alive and eat you? You know, no one sees that coming. Nobody sees that coming. And if they did, that is one paranoid hunter, I'm going to tell you. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and use some blood. And I know I had some, so that's good. And we're going to put it by the mouth. Lots of blood, lots of blood, lots of blood. And actually, let's change that blend mode back to normal. Easier to see. And we're going to put a lot of it by the face. And I'm just going to change the opacity so that way I at least retain some of what's going on underneath. Works pretty good. Lots of blood. Okay, lots and lots of blood. Gotta add all the blood. Okay, and then we'll put one underneath the rug as well. And maybe a little bit behind. Like this. Let's make some smaller ones. A little bit of blood here. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Nice. They never saw it coming. They're a delicious meal now. And I always like adding this one particular texture. Oh, it could be a bear cub too. Oh, good point. Hey, that's right. The bear cubs come back to make you dinner. Nom, 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 nom. Eat you in your sleep. Ooh. That bear's going to get indigestion. Shouldn't they know that you shouldn't eat meals that late at night? Come on. If you're going to eat a human, eat it at prime time because the digestion. Because you know what humans eat? It's a lot of garbage. Okay, so that bear better be a mystical bear that doesn't have a problem with cholesterol or anything. Okay, I love this dirt texture. I kind of went on a tangent there. I love this particular dirt texture. I think it's an orc. I use it all the freaking time. I think it's called dry grass, but it just works great for like kind of dirt. And so I'm going to size it down so that the artifacts are a bit smaller. And don't forget that FG layer. Press that one key. I'm going to use that circle brush. It's a little bright. I might have to drop it down. Let's just do a swipe and just see how it looks first. Oh, you know, I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Yeah, we're adding some dirt there. And in fact, I should drop the saturation all the way down to where it's more of a gray and bright and make it look like it's snow. So I'll add that too. So go ahead and just, let's drop that opacity. And the snow should be coming mostly from the door. So I'll put some here like this. A little bit of white. A little bit more here. Okay, so this is kind of like a snow. Let's actually bring that opacity up and bring the contrast down. Get rid of some of the, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. That's the happy spot. All right, there we go. A little bit of snow. All right. All right, Mr. Hunter. This guy must be full. Oh, yeah, it could have like a leg sticking out. Oh, that'd be kind of hard. But hey, it's doable. Why don't we do that? Let's just say there's a leg sticking out. I think we got a corpse right here, so that's good. And I think it'll have to be a layer below. It might not work. I might have to bring the bear up just one. Let's just wait and see. I have to bring the bear up one. Hold on a second. Just one up one. Oh, come on. There you go. All right. There you go. Oh, wow. Okay, so I guess we can scale it down a little bit. But first, let's get it to the right size by just putting it next to the bedroll. That looks about right. And then we got to make a leg stick out. Something like maybe, well, let's choose a different one. We're going to have to pick an optimal one so one of the legs isn't sticking out. Like this right here might be good. I don't know, if I can kind of open it, put it just like that. So there's a little leg like that maybe sticking out. Eesh, eesh, eesh. Might not work. There's so much blood. It's kind of hard to see, but I like the idea. Let's save that. We're at 97 changes. And I do think that is hilarious. Aha! You became dinner. Okay, let's save this. Oh, hey, there's a random bedroll outside. Yeah, maybe it's safer to sleep outside in the cold than to get gnawed on alive in your sleep. So let's delete that bedroll. Let's save it. And 45 minutes in, and I've only done 2. That's so my style. Well, we are going to do one quick thing to the outside because you know how freaking weird this hard edge of these walls look against that snow. You would expect something, some snow drift, some shadows, something like that. So I'll quickly add in some shadows, create some transition between the hunting cabin and the snow, and then we'll call that section good. Hello. Hello, hello, everybody. I just tried to zoom out. Hey, great. Yeah, remember to use those shortcut keys. So ridiculously helpful. All right, it's going to be slow to save. It's at that 4K. Oh, don't worry about that. I'm just glad that you have made it. So hello and welcome, Atia. Okay, so there's a couple last things to do. We're going to add in those shadows. And I usually just like to use the color black with a low opacity, generally around 40 or 50 generally works pretty good. And I'm going to make sure it's set to the FG later. And what I'm doing is just using dark shadows to create a sense of depth using contrast. That's called ambient occlusion. And I'm going to start by doing a single pass like this. And it's just going along the edge of the walls. That's all that you're doing, is just along the edge of the walls. And I'm going to do 2 passes. Okay, so the first pass is just kind of somewhat low opacity lining going around the edge, and then I'm going to bring that opacity up to even more, and then I'm also going to drop that size down and create a small dark edge like this, and it can be even darker than that. Let's go 100%. Make this a very, very dark edge. Like this. And that's going to create this kind of depth that you're kind of looking for, which is kind of nice. And we'll do that same thing to the outside, okay? There we go. And then we'll zoom out and take a look, and you can kind of see what I mean. When you zoom out, you'll see some depth because of adding those shadows. So there's some depth in there. Might even want to consider adding a light source. Maybe the stove door is closed, so there's no reason to put a light source there. Let's do also the outside. I'm also going to use a different texture. I think there's one called snow. Or I could just use this same one right here. This works fine. You're going to switch over to number 2 key to go to background. Bring up the size, and we're going to drop that opacity, and then just apply some of these artifacts around that edge like this. So it kind of looks like there's been some action going on there. Don't forget to do those shadows. Remember that first stroke at around 40 or so, and it's set to BG. Don't forget that 2 key like this. Put it around like this. This is that first pass for shadow. Okay, then you go up a little bit. Let's go a little bit higher, 80. Bring the brush down, and you're doing that exact same thing we just did, like this. In fact, that's just a little too dark. We can bring that down just a hair. I got a little carried away there, I'd say. Okay, and you add that little tiny darker stroke here like this. That little stroke, it's kind of nice, gonna give it that sense of depth, and then we'll move on to the next one. Thankfully we're only doing one today. Last week we did 2. We did Fantasy Regional and Fantasy World. If you haven't seen that video, you might want to go to our channel and check that out. Totally awesome. Totally. All right, there you go. And I think there's some footprints too. You can go ahead and add those in there. I don't want to add any more detail, but you get the general idea. Let's save that. And then we'll move on to the next one. If you have any ideas, names, a name for this particular hunting cabin, this scene, this POI, please put that in the chat. Don't forget, Philip will document that, and I will be sure to label all of these so that you will see that your label was added. Super cool. It's the hunter's demise. That's what you get for hunting bear cubs. Baby comes alive as a rug and eats your face, and you become a delicious snack. I don't feel bad for the hunter. Okay, let's go do a witch's hut. And I didn't leave a lot of space here, so I'm probably going to have to delete some things in there. Get rid of this stump. And here we want room for our witch's hut. Okay, let's move this over to the side, and maybe move this a little bit over to the side as well. We want to get it kind of out of that way so I have some room to put me hut. Alright, the hut there. Oh yeah, let's maybe rotate this branch a little bit more. Okay, so I have some nice room. Yeah. Ooh. Anyone got a good story for the witch's hut? What's the story here? What's the story? Okay. Alright, nice. Okay, witch's hut has to be round. Yes. Oh, I like that onions point. Hey, that's a good one. I like it. Okay, so we're making a witch's hut. Okay, 2 ways to go about this. You want to have that interior, so let's check our walls. Okay, and hey, what do we want? Something spooky? Something scary? Is it an evil witch's hut? Ooh, is she scheming something? Hey, to keep with the theme, might as well make it an evil witch. But hey, there's tons of good witches too, okay? But this one just happens to be a baddie. Jerk. Alright, I think, you know what? I think the Hansel and Gretel. Ooh, now that would be a challenge. Hansel and Gretel. Oh, I love it. I might have to go for that one. Let's go with that. Hansel and Gretel theme. Oh man, that's hilarious. So how do you make a candy kind of hut, right? So I'm gonna go and probably let's just put it in the center for now, not selecting anything. So we're going to make a hut. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. Let's go with no shadow for now. We're going to go with maybe some wild pink color. Let's boost this up. Can we get to pink? I'm looking for it. Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe like maybe a pink. Oh, hey, I got an idea. What about white walls like it's frosting, covered frosting, and then we can put some stuff on it. So if I drop that saturation all the way down, bring that brightness all the way up, it'll give it kind of this white kind of look to it, like it's icing, and then we'll put on some other stuff on there. Oh, gingerbread walls. Oh, man. Let's go with just a cake house for now. I'm going to have to move this lovely, very lovely stump with some vine on it. I'm sorry, I like you. You're very pretty, but I have to move you. I'm just going to put you over here. There you go. You have a new home now. All right. Copy, paste. Now, I would absolutely love to do some major details on this, but for now, we're just going to make a very simple house. It's kind of a witch's hut. We're going to add some stairs. Yeah. And I see there's a path already kind of strewn right there, so that will work well. Let's go with stairs. I'm going to use that stone one again, and I probably will just drop or change the brightness as well to kind of match. Let's see here. It's going to be small, about that size, so the human is the witch is fairly, has some room. You know, if you're going to eat children, you might as well do it in a comforted setting. You know, you don't want to be uncomfortable when you're eating, okay? Ooh, right. So we're going to turn off that layer shadow, drop the saturation, bring that brightness up. So at least we're matching somewhat with the walls. And don't forget to use a different layer. So if you go over to the mask tool, I'm going to choose this circle brush. I'm just going to size it down. Make sure it's set to subtract. That's the D key, A key, and D key. A basically for add, D for basically delete. I know there's not an S, so it's D. Just think delete. And I'm going to scale it up to the brush is the right size, fits in the whole thing. Oopsie, I'm sorry. Add, my bad. Gotta add it. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. Is it? I'm not sure if it's the right layer or not. Let me check. I have to verify. What layer am I on here? Oh, yeah. Okay. That's it. My bad. Okay. All right. And we're going to pick a texture real quick to put on the floor. What do we want? What do we want? Hagrid's house. Yes. Hey, that'd be fun. Hey, you know, there's someone's working on a Hogwarts, I think, map. It's absolutely incredible. Might be Mr. President. I'm not sure. It's chef's kiss. It's amazing. But I like the idea of Hagrid's house. That would be fun. Okay, witch's house. Okay. What are we thinking? Dilapidated floor? Are we thinking nice floor? I don't know. Let's just put a nice stone floor in, I guess. All right. Make sure it's set to the BG layer. I'm going to change that size. Because these stones are... Oh, yeah. The stones are huge. Look how big the stones are. Oh, no. It's way too big. Now I got to bring it down. Bring it down. And I'm going to rotate just a smidge. Maybe like this. And definitely still bring the size down. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. No. Come on. Yeah, that'll do. And make sure we get that size back up. There we go. Maybe just a little bit more rotation. There we go. Okay. And I think it's set to the right layer. I hope so. Let's just kind of verify. Yep, you are there. Cool. Let's turn off that softness. Don't need it. Okay. Zoichi's hut. All right. Ooh, okay. Candy, fun stuff. Oh, I think there's some sewer wall stuff. If I type back in wall, I'm pretty sure I saw some of these kind of like mushroom looking things. Yeah, that's it. These kind of small mushrooms. If I change these to kind of pink or purple or something, I might kind of give this effect of like sweets or some kind of lining of like cluster of, I don't know, frosting or something. I'm going to go ahead and make sure put it a layer below like that. And just put a bunch of these so it kind of look like it's some kind of delicious, something edible. That's what's going to draw them in, right? The kids are going to be like, oh, I've been walking in the woods for days. I'm so hungry. And then you see this house made of sugary delights. And you're just going to be like, you know what? Forget knocking on the door. I'm just going to eat this person's window right now. Because I am super hungry. Right? That's the lure. Your house looks so delicious, man. May I continue eating your dormer? Thank you so much. So we're going to add some of that in. I'm also going to put a layer above too, I think, just to kind of make it fun. So you got one random one on top there. One like this. Oh, yeah. I think that looks good. All right. Keep going. Oh, yeah. I think that's going to work. I like that kind of pinkish frosting look. That's gonna go. That's going to work for me. I dig. Okay. And we're going to line all the way around it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I love it. This house looks delicious. I might just have to skip breakfast and just nom on this house. Okay. Well, you know what? At least before the kids become dinner, at least they're going to get a good meal, right? Like, if you're going to go, at least have a good final meal. And they did. I mean, they got diabetes on top of it. But hey, at least you ate good before you became someone else's dinner. All right. So we got this nice, delicious frosting around the house. Delish. That's right. You know how long it took me to bake that door? It took me 3 days to bake that door, and you ate it. Okay. All right. So I think the last thing that we got to do is just kind of populate the inside and then maybe do a little bit of stuff. Ooh, the mark of Ursa. Ooh, I like that for the hunter one. Nice. All right. Well, don't worry. We'll document all of these and we'll put the names down. Okay. So we've created the nice, delicious delicacies that the children will be ensnared by before they become basically brunch. And I think what we should probably do is probably add in a fireplace. As always, something that you should have. So let's put a fireplace in. I'm going to put it up against the wall. I might even change that brightness just a bit. And maybe even change the saturation. I kind of want it to match somewhat to the wall. And we're going to put it down here like this. And let's see here. Let's put it up against the wall here. Okay, and we're also going to grab a chimney piece as well, of course. Otherwise, where is the smoke of this house going? It just goes nowhere. Without a chimney, you're just, I don't know, you're kind of like just hotboxing your own hut, and you don't really want to do that, okay? So don't do that. You got to add a chimney in. So we'll go into here, type in chimney. And just so you know, this is that same kind of place where, you know, where the children get cooked. So we might put in a big pot, a big stew. You know, I mean, you got to tenderize. You know, that's just, I mean, everyone cook knows that. You got to tenderize the meat. So let's go ahead and put on our chimneys. I'm going to drop the saturations. Bring the brightness up. We kind of want to match that color scheme we're going with. We're going to make it a double. Like this. Yeah, that we're going. Put it up against like that. And put another one like this. Oh, yeah. Children McNuggets. Delish. Okay. No, don't worry about Mattia. Write as much as you want. Not a big deal. Okay. Let's make sure we got that fireplace in there. I'm also going to want to change that object shadow. Boop, boop. Boop-de boop, boop. Put in one. And then just a little bit to the side like this. You just add a little bit of shadow. It does a lot. I'm telling you right now. A little bit of shadow goes a long way. Okay. Let's put in a big cauldron, because this is where the children are going to be tenderized. I think we've got a cauldron here somewhere. I mean, every witch needs a cauldron. Isn't that how it goes? Isn't that the trope? All right. Ooh, and it's nice and big, too. We want them kitties to fit in there. Okay. Nice big cauldron. And I think I'm just going to keep the same shadow as this one, so I'll select it and just fiddle with it. Boop, boop, done, done. Oh, actually, the light source is there, so maybe move the shadow a little bit more to the side, like this. Go up, maybe. You got to remember how your shadows work. They got to project away from your light source, so I think that works good. And I don't mind changing that shadow so it's not so dark. like that. That works just fine. Okay. And we're also going to put in a bed. Now, I would technically make this 2 floors for a bed, because you could kind of make it a witch's hut. It's 2 floors, but I'm not going to worry about that. Let's just put the bed, and unfortunately, they kind of eat where they sleep, because, you know, they eat kids, so they don't really kind of have any kind of etiquette of any kind, you know? You know, I'm pretty sure that their eating etiquette is awful, but hey, can't judge them too much. They eat kids. All right. Oh, what kind of bed do I want? There's a lot of options. Spanned all. Check it out here. Ooh, got a red bed. Go with that one. I'm fine with that. Stick that down. Okay, and I just want to use that same shadow. Let's go with just go with this. Unfortunately, I can't stand it that I have to change the shadows every time, but scaling down unfortunately does require that. Let's put the shadow that way. I do think the fire source is that way, the light source is that way, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and add a rug. I always put my rugs on the lowest layer, so rug. Let's go with a circular one. Dum dum dum. Let's go with a tattered one just for fun. Make it nice and big. Put it on the most bottom layer. And if you don't like that color, you can change it. That use slider bar. That's always kind of nice. And you can drop that brightness down. It's on the ground. I would expect it just to be a little bit darker. Don't really care much for the ground texture. That's okay, because we're short on time. We want to get things done quickly. So let's just wait. This should be set to object. What happened to that shadow? There it is. All right, cool. Like, wait a minute. What happened here? All right, so we got a nice bed here for our witch to sleep, and she can kind of sit there, read a book, watch the kids stew and simmer. You know, maybe there's a timer next to their bed. They're like, oh man, I think I got to turn this one. Okay, let's do it. All right, let's go ahead and add in our ambient occlusion. So we're going to go over to our color and our shadows. And remember, you got to go with that around 40%, small size. You're going to go with both sides, of course. You're getting in that ambient occlusion. We got black. Let's go with 48%. We're going to go around the edge like this. And it's okay to even put it next to the fireplace. That's all right. I cannot stress enough how important it is to add that ambient occlusion. That is really going to help with your depth. I don't recommend putting it in front of your staircase. That's not really necessary. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, getting there. But smaller, 65% should be good. There we go. And just add that second stroke. Make sure it's pretty dark. You want it to be pretty dark. This and that will give it that depth that we so desire, because sometimes your battle maps can look kind of flat. And it's like, oh man, this just looks super flat. I don't like it. So that ambient occlusion is going to really, really help with that. So make sure you do it. Okay, yeah, that turned out good. We'll do that same thing with the outside. Switch that 1 key to go to the FG layer. Drop that brush size up, or bring it up, not drop it. You can't drop something up. That doesn't make any sense. Don't you know how gravity works, you fool? You can't drop something up unless you're in space, and there is no up or down in space. That doesn't work. All right, watch the kids cooking. Yeah, got a timer. Maybe they're playing some music, you know. Hey, whatever your little routine is before you eat, children, I guess. I don't know. Okay, add that last little stroke in. Where are we at? Oh, hour over, and I'm only like my third one in. Oh, it is time to speed it up. All right, let's do this quickly. My propensity to add too much detail to things is getting in the way of my stream time. All right, quickly add that ambient occlusion. I'm going to add a quick path that leads to it, and then we're going to call that good. Yep, that looks just fine. Any more details, and we're going to be here for all day. So let's quickly add in the path, add in a texture. I think I saw some stone. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's it. That same stone's going to work just fine. Let's set it to 45%. Let's go set it to the right layer and just see how it looks real quick. Make sure the stone size is right. It could go up even more, and I think the size still might be, there we go, that size is good. Let's bring up the opacity. There we go, that should be okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it a little bit around, some around here like this. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, that is done. I know, that looks like a delicious hut. I would love to add more details, frosting and all the delicious goodies to it, but I haven't even finished this top row yet, so we gotta keep this stream rolling. We gotta keep it rolling. I'm just gonna getting kind of warm, so I'm gonna take off my sweatshirt. Just bear with me a moment. All this talk of eating children is making me kind of hot. Okay. All right. 60%. Oh, you slug. So slow. Okay. Okie dokie. Is there anyone still here? I hope so. Okay, we're still going. Working on toll station next. I hope there are people still here. Hope I didn't lose anybody. Let's keep going. All right, toll station. I'm excited about this one. I really like mangroves a lot, and I thought it'd be kind of cool that if you had this place where you're in this mangrove, you're in this boat, and you're trying to get around and travel around, but there's these series of toll stations or toll booths where you won't be able to pass because there's some logs blocking some paths, and you just want to get to another location in the swamp. So I'm going to create some boardwalk around this right here. And I like to use the dock. Works great. O key, F key, you just type in dock. As soon as my computer decides to do something. Okay, these docks work great. I like using these. I'm also going to drop that saturation so it's not so bright a brown. And I'm going to think about my size here. Let's say this is about where the boardwalk is. I'm going to have it going out. So I'm going to have the toll booth be right here. This toll booth be right here, and there's going to be like a gate, and over here is going to be a log jam so that the people on the boat can't get around. So the first step is just let's make that log jam first. I think if you just type in log, you should have that, or there should be some trees, I think, that might also work as well. Let's just add in tree. I think there should be some dead trees. Yeah, there's people here. Okay, these fallen trees are great. We're going to use the luminosity blend mode, and we're going to stack just a bunch of them like this and bring it down. I think let's just say layer 5, and we're going to stack these on top of each other like this, so it looks like they're kind of water bit. I think there's a whole bunch of, unfortunately, there's shadows on them, and we want to change that to, let's maybe change that to layer instead, and let's even change that contrast so it looks more like it's underwater. Okay. Oh, I missed this dying tree right here. Also change that contrast just a bit. Okay. Now those ones are underwater, and we're going to stack just a couple more on top, and they're not going to use the luminosity blend mode. These are going to be above the water and not below. Make sure you set that a layer above, okay? Alright, so this is this log jam, and oopsie, I kind of don't want that to happen. Bring that contrast back up. Naughty, naughty. How could you do that? Alright, so add in here. So this is a nice log jam here. No one can kind of get in this way. So now we've kind of created the reason why there's a toll booth. So you can't really get by this way. No way your boat's going to squeeze through this. So now we're going to create that toll booth. We're going to use those docks. Oops, I just favorited a tree for some reason. I guess I like that tree for some random reason. Who knows why? Okay. Let's see here. We're adding in a dock. Dun, dun, dun. We got to know the story behind this one. What is happening here? Dun, dun, dun. The quest continues. Okay. Some boardwalk. Let's go with 15. And I do want to drop that saturation. And I'm going to set it to object layer. Okay, and I'm going to make sure these are also below this because the boardwalk, these trees are high up, this foliage, and then the dock is going to curve like this. Now there are no curved docks or anything, so the way they kind of do that is just single pixel rotation. I'm not clicking any shortcut keys. I'm just kind of grabbing that yellow circle and kind of rotating them and lining up the pegs or the posts like this to kind of create this illusion of a curve. And I'm thankfully it's kind of hidden behind the bush, but you would see these pegs. Okay, like this. Add one more like that. Okay, and so you have this nice curved boardwalk. And basically, I'm going to create another one like this, going right here. Let's put it right like, ooh, let's push it up one layer. And then I'm going to put some other boardwalk going across. And this is where basically the, what's the word I'm looking for? Where the toll is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and stack these together. Give me a second here, put these together. And a gate's going to come down like a drop gate, like an alligator. Okay, I'm going to piece two like this, so there's some more boardwalk there. Okay, there we go. That looks good. Now we're going to also create our gate. So I'm just going to use basically just wood. I mean, that's what you would kind of expect, the material in a forest, even a mangrove. Wood is going to be your choice. And I'm going to piece together a kind of a gate. First, let's just line these up like this, put them together. And make sure that I even have this right, because this looks a little off. I think it is. So I might have to move that dock. Move these docks just a smidge. Let's see here. I'd say about that. Looks about right. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Bring that up a layer. And so you've got this nice gate here. Okay, I'm going to copy, paste, put two of them, just to give it a little bit more thickness, a little bit more girth to it. Okay, like that. All right. And we're going to add in, just going to change our design by adding in a couple extra little things. I'm going to put in the board there. Oopsie, let's go up a layer instead. An alligator, yeah. Okay, so this is kind of a gate that you place. Oopsie, I'm set to random. No! Listen, you jerk, random. Go away. No one asked you anything. Okay, let's go ahead and just add some bracing across the side to keep these boards together. Like this. And then I also want to create a section where there is a, what's the word I'm looking for? A lever that you push to control the gate, and then also a station where somebody goes to, you go up to a booth. So I think what might work good is a market stall might work good. So if I type in market, I think a market stall should pop up. I'm pretty sure. Let's just give it a second. I'm seeing these tents. Yeah, this will work just fine. I'm going to put it right here like this. Make sure that it is above the docks but below the trees. And we're going to put make sure to put that object shadow on it like this. So basically you're talking to this person. You dock with your boat right here. And we'll make sure to put a boat there. And you talk with this person who pulls a lever and opens this gate. That's basically the logic that I got going on. Now, whether or not you want that gatekeeper to be a jerk or what the cost is for that toll, that is up to you. I say it's at exorbitant prices, way overpriced. That's what I say. Okay, that looks good. I think I might have to take it up one layer because the shadow needs to go over these two docks as well, and I noticed it didn't. We're also going to add a post. Woof. We're looking for some woofs. Does anybody have any woofs in the catalog? I've been looking all day for woofs and I just can't seem to find one. Okay, and we're going to put a post right here and then put a lever on top of that. And that's basically going to be the mechanism in which you operate this thing. We'll go with object. We're going to go with our typical shadow trick. Move it just a little bit to the side. There we go. Even change it down even more. I think that might be better. And then we're going to add a lever. And maybe even some gears, and then we got to move on because, whew, I am nowhere near close to done, and I don't want to keep you here all day. So we'll add in that lever, put it right there. Make sure it is a layer up. I want it to show up on top. And let's bring it up just a couple more. We're going to put in some gears and then move on to the next one. Ooh, this takes a minute. Oh, you know, this milling gear should work just fine. Let's just use that thing. Okay, I'm going to put it on the side. We're just kind of creating the mechanism in which the gate goes up. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be ridiculously realistic, but realistic enough. So I'm going to place this below, like this. It should be below those docks, should be below everything. No. There we go. Bring that down like this, so that at least there's some cogs sticking out. Right, and you might even want to change that brightness. I generally, when things are below something, dropping that brightness is good to go, even though I selected the wrong thing. I love when I do that. Okay, we're dropping this. Okay, drop that down. Here we go. Sweet. Let's take a zoom and take a look out. All right, yeah. Okay, so, oh yeah, let's add in a quick boat, right? You gotta add in a boat. Let's add in a boat. Come on. There we go. We don't want a busted one. That ain't gonna work. That isn't gonna help. Okay, let's drop that boat down about... Let's go to 15. I think that should be big enough. Okay, put a boat right there. All right, there you go. And a quick kind of cool trick with the shadowing, by the way, is you can kind of create it look like there's a shadow on the ground by, like in the water. So bring the shadow all the way out like that. And this can kind of help you to show like what kind of depth you have in your water. So the more the shadow is decoupled from the boat, the deeper the water, and also that factors in where the light source is. I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, I'm just saying that it's kind of closer to midday, so the shadow should be probably a little closer to the boat. Otherwise, if it was dawn or dusk, that shadow would be not necessarily elongated, but definitely decoupled further away. Okay, like this. The shadow would be like that. So we're going to make sure the shadow is not decoupled. Put it like that. That should be fine. Okay, and bring it up just a hair. I think we want to keep somewhat continuity with the other shadows, so let's put that there like that, and there you have it. Let's go ahead and make sure that boat is nice up and close here like this. Yeah, there we go. Toll station. Let's go ahead and save. Hey, if you got an idea for the name of that toll station, please put that in the chat, and I'll be sure to label that with your name and the title on the maps, and so that way when people see it on the explore page or my profile, they can clone, edit, and they'll know who came up with the name. Because I want to accredit you with your genius titles, because some are fun as heck and I really like them. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Critical Zone. Yeah, awesome. Got some people in here. Awesome. Hey, if you have any questions, don't forget to ask Philip, okay? All right, shoot. I only got about 35 minutes left, and I got 4 more to do, so I better speed this up. I'm going to assume this is probably going to go to about 12:30 p.m. PDT my time. So there's still about another hour left in the stream. Please bear with me. Let's go move on to Lost Village. I'm going to speed this up because we are running short on the times. So the way I'm going to do it is just kind of make some really simple broken walls. I'm going to put them with the blend mode luminosity. So type in wall. In fact, I'm going to type in broken because it might show up there. Might be better. Let's take a look. I think there are some broken walls. Excuse me. Let's take a look. I'm going to create just a series of very small buildings that have basically collapsed and falling apart. So it's kind of the remnants of a lost city. And I'm not going to put a whole bunch of ruins on there, just enough, because much of it has already been engulfed by the sand, so it kind of gives it more of that feeling of a lost city. It's buried deep with under the sand, so if you want to explore more of the city, you're going to have to dig down into the sand to get to those locations. So let's check out our broken walls and create just a few buildings, a few structures that are popping out of the sand, and the wind is beating up against them, destroying them, making them more dilapidated. Okay, let's see here. Broken wooden walls. It doesn't make any sense to kind of make a wooden structure. It makes more sense to kind of have a stone structure in the desert. So let's go and use these stone wall pieces. And again, make them kind of big. First, let's just place one, and then I'm going to, so just so it's in my recently used, I'm going to delete, and I'm going to select everything in here and lock it with the Alt-L key, because I don't want to accidentally select anything. Hello, online tabletop. Welcome. Okay. All right. So we got this nice oasis. So the city was very prominent and beautiful. It was next to a water source. It was nice. But then some disaster befell the kingdom. Who knows what happened, right? You guys got some kind of story. I'm sure you can come up with it. Maybe an evil force took over, a giant sandstorm. There's a haunted sandstorm that's just raging through. Who knows, right? It could be anything. We're going to go with that really nice luminosity blend mode, because that way we can kind of get that same color, right? Let's zoom in. Everything should be locked on here, so I should be able to freely place these stamps without feeling worried. Okay, and I am running a little slow. Let's go ahead and just make the basic shapes. You don't have to worry about making every single thing. Okay, since it's a dilapidated city, you only need to make some small pieces. Kind of keep that in mind when you're making your ruined cities and stuff like that. You don't need to have every single wall piece. It's ruined, it's fallen apart, and it's a little bit easier, and it's not as much work. Let's scale it down like this. I'm just going to place these in the negative spaces and add a bunch of rubble all over the ground. So there's one shape right there, and what's really nice is sometimes if you drop the opacity or drop that contrast, you can make it look like it's more under the sand or covered in more sand. So drop that opacity, okay, like that. Or you can change with the blend mode, which is another method, and we can do that as well. I'll show you that one. I don't know if anyone is familiar with flattening. Let's go ahead and turn off. Let's just select all of these, change them contrast and brightness to the normal, and change that opacity all the way up. So if you don't know anything about flattening, let's go ahead and explain a little bit about flattening. Flattening is going to basically bake in whatever you flattened into the layer. This looks like, this is the plus, this is the FG, so this I'm assuming would be the BG, so I'd have to flatten it. And one thing that flattening is useful for is if you want the sand to look like it's overtaking some of the structures, and we're going to do that. First, let's make a bunch of structures, change them, place them around, and then we'll flatten them all and then put sand over it to make it look like they've been engulfed by this absolutely scary and crazy sandstorm that came through. It's quite sad. It's a sad story. It didn't go well for these people. Everything's a disaster on my streams. I'm sorry. It's just if you were expecting a happy story, you might have to check out another stream, because there's no happy stories here. It's always going to end in a sad. It's dark. It's scary. Okay. Let's add in this circular one as well, like this. And let's add in a couple circular ones so that we have broken circular ones. Let's put one like here, like this. Let's put half of one. So it looks like it kind of broke off like that. Ooh. Summered red adhuns. Alright, burn it all. Alright, so we got a couple structures here, and what you would do is just create a bunch of them. For now, I'm just going to create 3 so we can kind of keep the time short. I'm also going to change the brightness of all of them. So if you just select one, go to hamburger menu, select all from this set, all of those will be selected. That's what's really cool about that. We're going to change it to a layer for the shadow. We're also going to change that brightness, bring it up like that, so they're nice and bright. We're even going to drop the contrast down just a bit. Okay, and we're also going to flatten them. So let's flatten these to the BG. It should be BG. I think it is. Yes, it is. Great. So now you're going to see that this, you can't select these anymore. These have been baked into the canvas. So what we're going to do is look for that same sand texture. Unfortunately, I didn't save it. I got to remember to do that, but it's this desert texture. I'm not sure it's the right size or not. Let's check. I think it's okay. And let's start with a low opacity first and a small brush and just test it on, make sure it's set to BG as well, or I'm on FG, so 2 key over to BG, zoom in, change that brush size and opacity. Let's do 1 stroke and go over, and you can see that it kind of goes over a little bit. Let's bring it up just a little bit more. Let's go to 57. And what we're doing is kind of creating this illusion that it's been engulfed by the sand. And let's do another section over here, like this. So you're kind of creating this illusion that there's been some sand that's going over some of it. Maybe even put some over here like this. And do it to all of them. So there's a section over here you might want to do. It's up to you where you want to do it. It doesn't really matter that I know of, unless you really want to get into the physics of it, where the wind is blowing and all that stuff. I'm not going to bother with that, but maybe in another video we could go over that. Okay, let's do this section here. And we're also going to have to throw in some textures for some rubble. So let's go ahead into the texture catalog, and I do think you could use this same stone here. This stone will work just fine. Don't think it's going to be a problem. Let's change that size. And let's see, about that size looks good. 33%, I think that's fine. And let's just do 1 stroke, see what it looks like, and just kind of put it kind of along these edges here. That size might even have to go even smaller than that. Let's go with that and bring up the opacity just a hair. And let's apply. And for some reason those stones look so gray. Well, that is not going to work. So we might have to change the hue. Gray does not work with HSBC very well, unfortunately. But there are some things you can do. Let's go to filter, completely saturate them. And maybe we can change the color just a bit somehow. I'm seeing kind of a bluish red. I don't know. Let's apply and just see what it looks like real quick. I think that should be just fine. Let's go with that. So you're adding a little bit of stone on the ground like this. It looks like rubble fell down. And we'll drop that opacity down just a bit. Put some over here like this and in here. Okay, let's add in a couple more. Oh, I wish I had more time. I'd be doing so much more details, but this works pretty good for the time being. Shadows will help to create depth, so we'll get that in there as well. Just going to add in that stone. What are we looking at? Ooh, it is 11:30, and we still have 3 more to go. That's not too bad. We should be okay. Adding that stone in there, and I think also there should be some rubble. I think if you just look up rubble, it should be there. Let me check. Let me just verify rubble, I think. Let's check. Is there some rubble? We need some rubble. Rubble. Aha, this stone wall's going to work great. We're going to change, let's turn off the shadows and change luminosity because I want to retain that same color. And what this is going to do is just kind of create that last bit of stone. So that way it doesn't look too weird. It is going to set to rotate, and we'll just click random, place a couple like this. Okay, so it looks like it's been scattered around. So scatter that. Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, now it's looking a little bit like some civilization. Well, was a civilization. It's not anymore. Okay. We've added that. I think the last bit is to kind of add in some sense of flooring to it. So if we go into the catalog and look for some kind of tile floor, maybe that would look good. There's this this floor we kind of used. There's this stone right here. This might be okay. I think tile might work best because I think that might look kind of interesting. It'll be different. So let's go with tile. Let's just type in tile, see what our options are. Let's see here. I don't think I like black and white. I kind of like this. Let's go with this one right here. This is tile, and make sure it's broken as well, considering it is a lost city. It's going to look fragmented and broken. Let's go ahead and change that size, and you might have to change your rotation for almost every single one of these, just to let you know. So there is some extra work involved, unfortunately. Change that rotation like this. Bring that opacity down. Let's just do one stroke and just kind of see what it looks like. Okay, do another stroke. These tiles are really big, unfortunately. Let's bring the opacity up a little bit more, bring the size down, and we've already seen where some of the cracks are, and that's perfect. I also want to change that rotation just a little bit more. It seems a little off. Let's line it up more with that. So let's go ahead and add that stroke on there one more time like this. There we go. And it's okay that it's kind of, the striations are off a little bit. That's okay. I don't mind that, because it is supposed to look like it's kind of shattered and broken. And then just pick a spot where there's a crack and just fill it in to where there's more. So like there's a crack there, that puts some there, crack there, crack here and here. And don't forget to take in that sand, bring up that opacity and the size, and make it kind of look like there's some sand that it's going in as well. It's okay to add some, shall we say, sand drifts. All right, like that. And we're going to do that to every single one of those. Let's just zoom out and just make sure and verify how that looks. Looks okay. Let's also quickly add in a shadow. And I already flattened this, so unfortunately these will be painted over, and that's okay. You just have to be somewhat meticulous about the way that you do it. So I probably should have done shadows beforehand, so please don't make that same mistake that I made. I'm going to put the shadows on this side, on the inside. Bring that opacity up. Bring this down. Put in a kind of a dark shadow along this edge, like this. And don't forget that the shadow probably is going to be a little bit darker where there's, so this section right here isn't as much sand over it, so add more shadow here. So wherever there's more sand, you're going to have more shadow, or less sand covering something, there's going to be more shadow. So I'm putting shadow here on this side and along here. Just in the future, for the next time, don't do it this way. I totally recommend instead making sure that you save, that you just use the object shadows next time. And then when you flatten them, you can just add sand over it. So it's not the best method, but it works. Let's quickly add in the last bit of tile. Maybe add in some desert scarabs. I know there's some desert scarabs in there, and maybe some green to make green spit, because I say that this evil sandstorm hides an evil flock or evil amount of locusts or bugs that come in and attack and destroy. So the town was destroyed by both the sandstorm and those evil bugs that kind of, ride the storm looking for their prey. Nom, 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 nom. Delicious. Because, humans are good. They're delicious. Okay, let's go ahead and add in that tile. I'm going to rotate it, make sure it works in good. Ooh, it is a little slow to rotate because I'm in a 4K. I really wanted to have it look nice. Okay, let's go up to size 5, and we'll add in some of that tile. Ooh, and I do think I'm probably going to have to refresh the page as well. I've been doing this. Let's have the tile go out here just a bit. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do all the tile right away, so that way I can do that shadow in a second step. So let's go ahead down here to the next one. Rotate just a bit. I want them all to be different rotations so it's not the same. That can look really weird. So add in that tile. We'll add in the crazy bugs, the shadows, and don't forget the sandstorm. We're going to use clouds for that. Okay. And because it's October and Halloween, we got to add in some bodies. Okay, so 3 structures. Now, obviously, if you're working on it, you're going to have a lot more than that, but this will do for the time being. You get it. The method remains the same. Let's go ahead and bring up the size or the opacity and quickly do the shadows for these, and then we'll move on to the sandstorm, the bugs, and keep going. Shoot, how many do I have left now? Oh, I still have 3. Oh, man, this is going to take a minute. Okay. Quickly add in those shadows. Let's bring up. Oh, bring it down. Sorry. Not up. I want to go. Not that. All right, let's add in a shadow here. Oh, shadow here like this. And let's add some shadow along here. I probably could have thought this one a little bit more through. Busted. Add some shadow there. Okay. Sweet. I want to get to my favorite part. The carnage. Okay. One more shadows. Add in the bugs. Add in the sandstorm. Add in the disgusting green spit that you don't want to get on you. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Jurassic Park. But I think Michael Crichton wrote the original book. But if you've ever seen the movie or read the book, oh my gosh, there's this scary spitter dragon, I think, or dinosaur. I think they're called a... I forgot the name of them, but they shoot like a spit, and if it like blinds you or incapacitates you in some way. I'm having that same concept with these bugs, and I'm pretty sure they're called scarabs. So we finished that part up. Let's add the scarabs. Let's add in the sandstorm, and I'm going to actually use, I think, first let's put in scarab. Oop, shrubka. I don't know what shrubka is. What is that? Okay. I think it should be under scarab. Okay, where are you? Okay. There we are. Hey, found it. There we are. Got some scarabs here. And we got to make them kind of big because it's like they really did a number on this town. Add in just a couple of them here, one there, and we'll add another one over here, getting some drink. I'm super thirsty. I need some food before I eat all these humans. Okay, let's add in one more. Let's make them varying in size too. So we'll put a smaller one over there, another one over here. Let's put one inside here, okay? And I want to take the blood. I think take blood, and we're going to make it green and make it look like they're spitting it out at somebody. So take some blood. Yeah. And I think this one right here kind of looks like it's spit a little bit, just kind of maybe. Maybe. Yeah, let's try it. Let's put this, rotate it like this, put it down like that, and we're going to change that hue to green. Oh, that looks good. Let's change that brightness. There we go. And let's change that opacity. There we go. Nice. Aha! And then also, let's just do that spit again over here and maybe put a corpse. Some adventurers were looking for treasure in the lost city, and they ended up becoming dinner for the spitter scarabs. Sorry, guys. Let's go ahead and quickly add a skeleton. Let's just say that this spit, whatever this stuff is, you don't want to get touched by this stuff, because if you do, it's going to like just boil your skin off. There's going to be nothing but bones. Okay, let's say here, this guy kind of looks like he's like, ah! Okay, let's put them a layer below the spit so we can kind of see some green. Ah! That didn't go well. Okay, there we go. Nice. Take that shadow off. All right, and let's drop that opacity just a smidge. Okay, that looks good. And then don't forget that sandstorm. And I am going to go off styles just a little bit. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I can't wait for that one, Philip. That's going to be great. that village to a city streams next month. For those of you who don't know, next month we're basically going to be creating a village that's going to transform into a capital city over the course of next month. I'm super excited. I'm going to make the landscape first. That's going to be off screen. That won't be streamed, but we're going to tell the story of how this village became to be and how it developed into a capital. I am super excited to do that, so that is exciting. Check your calendars because this is going to be fun. All right, one last bit. Let's add in some clouds, and I'm going to cheat and be a big jerk and switch across styles because sometimes the art in some style just doesn't work for others. It's not all styles, by the way. I don't recommend mix matching styles unless you know how to deal with the inconsistencies in or the contradictions in the styles. So, for instance, if you're using watercolor battle maps, the line work is much darker and thicker compared to fantasy battle maps. So I don't recommend using both of those styles together unless you kind of know what you're doing. Let's see. We're going to add in clouds. I'm going to search all styles. I really like the clouds from watercolor battle maps. I think it's watercolor battle maps or cities because it doesn't have a shadow. It doesn't have a shadow, and I absolutely love that they don't have shadows because why on earth? Because you look here at these clouds, they have a shadow to them. These clouds have a shadow to them, but you look at these clouds and they simply just do not have a shadow, and I absolutely love that. So let's bring the saturation all the way up. Let's bring the brightness all the way up. Or not all the way up, but bright enough. And this is going to be kind of like some sand, and I'm going to bring it up to the top layer. Make sure the opacity is down enough so you can see through it. Let's put one down and just see what it looks like. Yeah, okay. So sandstorm there, sand there, and sand. Let's say right there. There we go. All right. Sweet. And one more down there. Hey, don't forget to give this place a title. I think that's it. We've got our story going on here. These giant scarabs are picking up adventurers who have decided to explore this nice lost village, city, or whatever it is. It can be a lost civilization. It doesn't have to be a village. But anyone who decides to go there and look for the treasures that are there is going to become a snack for some lovely scarabs who have very nice colors. Right? Oh, yeah, just a quick reference. As Philip has mentioned, these clouds are absolutely fantastic with HSBC. Let me show you real quick so you can see. But you can change the HSBC because they're not gray, they're not white, so they're great. Absolutely perfect. All right. Let's save at 139 changes, and I'm going to refresh the page. I have been doing so much. My change history is probably huge. It is massive, so I probably am going to need to refresh the page, change up that, clear out that change history so that my computer won't lag quite as much. So bear with me as the save will take a moment. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. We're still going. All right, just 3 more to go. I'll try to make them quick. Dum, bum, 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 bum. Where's the Jeopardy? We need like the Jeopardy theme song. Dun, 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 dun. Kind of waiting for this thing to save. Okay, let's refresh the page. I've saved it, so I'm going to refresh the page. This looks like it's going to make me log back in. Close that. Let's open this up. It should already be in 4K. We're opening it up. Don't forget, it's going to be slow to load if it's in 4K. And also I'm streaming, so a little extra lag for your delight. Bum, 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 bum. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it. All right, looking good. All right, we are getting there. Bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 da. All right, come on. I want my map. Why are you taking so long? Okie dokie. There we go. Yeah, we've opened up. Here we go. All right. So we're on ambush. We got a campsite and a bridge. We better speed this up. Ambush is not complicated at all. Ambushes are super easy. I'm just going to use this forest area because foliage and all this forest, it's kind of easier to conceal a trap. So bandits have been hiding in the trees, just waiting for you and your little merry band of men and women to ambush. So the way I'm going to go about that is probably end up creating a log in the road so there's an obstruction, and you kind of have to go around the log, and that will lead them right to where our thieves or whoever it is, highwaymen, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, these kind of bandits that are just waiting there to spring upon you and steal all the loot that you just got in that last battle. So hey. All right, let's add in that log. Maybe it's already in here. Yeah, there's a dead tree right here, so that works out just fine. We're gonna put it on the ground, and it's kind of an obstruction. Don't forget, it's an obstruction. I'm gonna also drop it down to where at least it's in the shadows. So let's take a look. Let's actually. I'm thinking now that I should probably lock everything in here. There's a lot of stuff going on in here, so I'm just gonna Alt-L, lock it. Won't accidentally select anything. Yay! All right, and I want to make sure that this is below, because what we did is we used stamps of trees as shadows, and we did that to create depth, and we want those shadows to be affected by this stamp. So I'm putting it on layer -5 so that those shadows will pop up on the log. And I'm also going to drop that brightness down just a bit. It is on the forest floor where it's going to be a little dark. There is a lot of foliage and not a lot of light. So there's this obstruction in the road. Your crew is going left, right, up, down, whichever it is. Let's just say they're going up the road, traveling to where they're going. They're sneaky, hiding either up in the trees, in the foliage, or hiding behind the trunks, ready to spring upon your helpless, defenseless crew. Hopefully you're not too defenseless. Hopefully you got a lot of goodies. Take these bandits down. Don't let them take all the goodies you just got. So you have that there, and we're also going to add in maybe some, let's see here, put in a little bit of vines on top of it. And we're going to type in vine. This is not too much. I know ambushes are pretty popular from what I can tell in a lot of campaigns, so it just depends on what you want to go with. Road scenes are absolutely fantastic for that. So you just put something like an obstruction on the road that forces your group of people to go take a certain route, basically a a detour of some sort, and that detour will lead them into the clutches of our thieves. Let's go ahead and add in some vines real quick. It's just to give it some more greenery to make it look nicer. You don't have to add this. I'm just putting it on there. I don't want to have absolutely nothing on there. Just a little bit, because all we're really going to do is just put a log there, and then that's about it. That's all you really need for an ambush. You could also dig a pit if you wanted to, and then I think there is a trap, so if this doesn't kind of suit to you as a suitable trap, you can also go with, I think if you just type in trap, there should be a bunch of them. It depends on what you want your thieves to do. Do they want you to fall into a hole and now you're stuck in there? I mean, do they have to then fish you out to get the goods? I don't know. It just depends on how you want to plan that out. Let's just type in trap. I think there's a couple. If you type in this one, there's a covered trap like this. So if you place that down, you'll see right away that there's a trap there. This might work better for you if that's the way you want to go about it. This is the kind of trap that I expect for catching game, or if they're trying to kidnap you because they don't want you to get away. So if they prefer an ambush going this way, actually leading into a battle, into hand-to-hand combat, then maybe this one works better. So whichever trap that you prefer for an ambush works well. There's that pit, and then there's this obstruction, and I think there are a couple other ones. Let's just go with a pit. It's simple. It's at the negative layer 5, so it keeps that shadow. This is perfect. Oh, that's right. We want to create a little nest for bandits. Let's say that this log is where the bandits are hiding behind to basically jump upon you. So let's put this here. Make sure it has a shadow. And what we have is we have our thieves are hiding behind this log, about ready to pounce and come and get you and take your stuff. All that stuff you worked for. So that log is basically where people are going to hide. They're going to jump out, and that's the spot. And adding a little bit of foliage on top is useful because let's say that they're hiding and peeking their eyes through that foliage right there, looking, waiting, while you, unsuspected, fall onto these leaves. Though, does anyone fall for the trick? So really, I think if you want to make it more intense too, you could have it to where a bandit's chasing after you. It might be a little more realistic so that you fall into this trap, because if I was walking along and I saw this, I would not walk over it at all. I'd be like, yeah, what do you think I am, a freaking idiot? All right, let's save it and call it good. There's a lot of different ambushes that you can go with, tons of ideas. I mean, shoot, we could do a whole tutorial just on ambushes. And in fact, maybe I'll even work on a couple for fun, because I do think that would be kind of fun. So let's go ahead and save. That's it for the ambush. 5 minutes till. We got 2 more left. We are making good speed. I'm so glad the ambush was an easy one. And hey, sometimes that's nice, right? You don't want to spend 3 hours on a map, on an ambush map, especially if you got your ambush going on in 2 hours. So if you're in a rush, you know, the ambush ones are pretty easy, a little bit quicker, so that's nice. Let's go on to a grassland and a camp site. I didn't add any light sources, and I probably should in these. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, onto grassland. We're creating a campsite. This one is super easy. All it is just add in a fire, a campfire. So if you just go to the catalog, O key, F key, go to catalog, I think you should be able to just type in camp. And there's your campfire. It can be a broken one if you want. We can have everyone dead in this campfire, just like everyone else in these panels. Everyone's dead. Okay, so when you're picking your campsite in this grassland, pick a negative space. I think this right here, this little negative space, works just fine. The tree is big, and this is quite big, so let's scale that down. This size should be just fine. I'm also going to change that object shadow. I'm just going to choose one and just put these to the default. And I'm going to move it just a little bit to the side like that, as I always do. I just noticed that these trees don't have any shadows as well. Yikes. That's a naughty on my part. Oh no, wait, the shadows are right here. So actually, and it's elongated. So actually go the other way. Oopsie. My bad, I was putting them the wrong way. How silly. Let's bring them down like this. Keeping continuity in shadows is a pain. Okay, so this is where that campsite is going to be. So you want to put some, if you've seen a lot of the campsite maps, put some bedrolls. So there are a couple ways. You can just have bedrolls being out in the open. If it's going to be like something like the snow or a cold, wet, damp place, I don't recommend having a bedroll. Instead, add some tents. So it just depends on the weather, depends on the scenario, what's really going on. This looks like it's getting close to maybe a sunset or sunrise, so it's okay. We can put in some tents, maybe even both tents and bedroll. Maybe there are people who like to sleep outside, maybe some like to sleep inside. So it's up to you. Let's first just add in a bedroll or two. Now, if you're trying to stay warm, you probably want your bedroll to be near the fire, and why not put your head next to it too? Because all of your heat escapes through your extremities, so put that where your bedroll is, have the head be near the fire, so that by accident, if a spark should fly off and catch your hair on fire, yeah, I mean, that's the way it should be, right? But put yourself a little farther, maybe put your bedroll maybe a little bit farther away from the fire. You don't want it to catch on fire. That would not be good. Though that would be something you would be laughing about for a while. Okay, let's add in just maybe some unfurled bedrolls. One that hasn't been put down yet next to the fire. And we'll add one that's a little unkept. Okay, and then we're also going to add, oopsie, I think it should go that way, like that. And then let's also add in some tents. We want to do some texturing. All right, let's check this tent. Look at the size of that bed. Could that bedding fit in there? Yep, I think that looks good. Okay, so we're going to place a tent over here. I'm going to put the entrance in front of that door. And put the entrance in front of that fireplace. You want that heat to go right in there if you want to keep nice and warm. Human torch. Yeah. All right, let's type in the 1. We got to play with these shadows because you know how fun that is. And let's put them this way, I think, because I'm just trying to keep continuity with those shadows. Shoot, this one can be kind of tough. Let's drop it down like that. Okay, that should be a good. Okay, so you have your tent, you have your bed rolls. If you want it to be nighttime, you would add a night filter, and then you would have the fire that has a fire in it. The campfire has a fire in it, and you would put your night filter on layer 4, and you'd put your campfire light source on top of the campfire on layer 5. Okay, so just remember that if you want your light sources to be unaffected by that night filter, you want to put it at layer 4 and the light source is at layer 5, because camp scenes I generally think at night, but the night filter will affect every single thing here, so we can't do that. But this is a general layout on how you would want to do it. You could also add a stack of logs, maybe a crate, a barrel, a wagon. It depends all what you're taking with you in your travels. Let's go ahead and fix these shadows real quick by elongating them just a teeny bit like that. Maybe go down, and let's add a texture, and I'm going to add dirt as your texture. A campground consists mostly of dirt. I keep having the wrong style selected. I like this forest floor. There's no fallen wood or anything like that, so it's kind of just that. Let's drop the opacity down. Make sure we're set to the right layer. Is it set to FG? I don't know. Let's just apply it and see what it does. It doesn't look like it. I think it might be BG. Okay, so just underneath the camp, put in that texture. Let's actually increase the opacity to 43%. There we go. Okay. And I'm not sure. Is that working? It kind of looks like it. Let's go up just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. We're going to add some dirt. Actually, that doesn't look good. There's some artifacts in there that don't look good. And I think it's also the wrong size. I've been doing this stream for too long. I don't even remember how to follow my own advice. This isn't going to work. I think we're just going to go with a dirt texture like this one. I kind of like that. That's just going to do just fine. Bring it down. Want a lot of those artifacts to be there. Change that brightness, or change the opacity. And let's just apply it like this. There we go. Because we want some difference in the floor to where the campsite is, so it kind of sticks out. You're kind of highlighting it or framing it in some way. So adding a little bit of dirt where people are treading everywhere and things like that. So that's super important to kind of add a little bit there. You want this part of the map to pop out, and using a different texture for the ground is the kind of that way to do that. Let's just zoom out real quick. Take a look. Yep, so you have this nice brown underneath. And again, that kind of represents where people have been treading. And if you want, you can add a little trail that goes off like this. Maybe this is just the way to get to it. Like this. Maybe have a trail that leads out this way. And another trail that goes over to here. Like that. So that's kind of easy campsite. Those are just the basics for your bare bone campsite. Tents, bedrolls, campfire, but you can add a whole bunch of stuff. Let's just quickly add in a body that is just hanging out, or actually let's put on one corpse real quick. I think I have some corpses floating around here. I'm just going to take them away so that way I don't have to look for them in the catalog, and that is the beauty of the copying and pasting thing. Just like with colors, just use the same stamps over and over again on the map, copy and paste, and that way you don't have to keep going to the catalog, because the objective is to try to speed things up. You want to make your make your map time go quicker. Okay, let's put on one person right here. The bedroll looks a little too small for them. So let's go ahead and bring it up about this size. And I'm I think I'm actually going to have some fire coming out, like a fire spirit coming out of this broken thing and then catching this person on fire. Because heck, why not? Because I'm a mean person. That's why. All right, let's add in some fire. Okay, and this is the fire. It's going to be coming right here, right here. It's going to be coming out of this little area right here. And then I'm going to create some fireballs that look like that they're being spit at from the fire and hitting this person in the face. And they are becoming shish kebab, or shall we say they are becoming cooked. So shooting the fireballs over an unsuspecting sleeping person, and now they are on fire. Yikes. Sorry. I am a very mean person, that's all I can say. Let's put this on the proper layers. There we go. Their head is on fire. That is a very unfortunate experience, but hey, we can put their bum on fire too if we want. What do you think? Do you think to put the pants on fire? Maybe put a leg on fire? Ow. Yeesh. Oh yeah, and the bedroll's on fire too. Maybe add a big one. Drop the opacity just to give it some more character. That bedroll is toast. Literally. Oh, I'm so sorry, but you are dinner now. Oh wait, we don't want to put that one there. Because then you can't really see him that well. We want to be able to see him. There we go. Let's boost that up and then drop that opacity down quite a bit. There we go. Aha! Human Torch! Alright, there you go. I'm sorry, but you have now become a dinner for the evil fire spirits that live in your fireplace. This is what happens when you don't tend your fire pit. They get really mad and they just really like the attention. And so if you don't stoke that fire right, they pretty much catch you on fire. So you don't feed them, you become the kindling. Okay? That's how it works. This is very jealous campfire. They want attention and they want wood. Give them the wood. Lots of wood. Okay. We're going to save. We got, what, 2 more left, I think? Oh, no. Last one. Yay. Last one. 5 minutes after. Sweet. I am not so far behind as I originally had intended. Oh, Camp Crispy. Delish. The taste of humans. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and work on a bridge. I'm going to show you real quick how to set up a bridge. I absolutely love making bridges. First, we're going to create some negative space for a road that's going to lead to the bridges. So we have to kind of move some shrubbery around. And I'm going to select and lock everything again so that I don't accidentally click anything. So Alt-L, it will lock everything up. Nothing is selected. Perfect. There we go. And I'm going to make a bridge. I'm going to do it off to this. Let's put it right here, actually. Let's first do, let's go to the catalog. So in the object, so O key, F key. And what we're going to do is something a bit different. I haven't showed this one, but get rid of your Fantasy Battlemap and go over to Parchment. And I'm going to show you the beauty of clipping masks. This is a bit of a trick. So you go to icons, and icons have what are called clipping masks. These ones, you'll see there's kind of a border around it. You see that brown border? That thing is called a clipping mask, and it's picking up whatever is on the FG layer. Now, clipping masks are fantastic to use. If you drop the opacity all the way to 0, it will still maintain the clipping mask, and it will go over. And now, just so you know, the clipping mask is going to pick up whatever texture is on the FG layer. That's the foreground layer. That's anything made with the add mode of the mask tool, okay? So let's go back to those same icons and go to a square. And you're going to place one for now, like this. Okay, I'm placing this down. I'm going to make it nice and big. I'm going to copy it, paste it, and this is going to be your bridge ground. Okay, this is going to be your bridge ground. So if I put over like that. So let's put bridge ground, and then I'm going to take some walls, and it doesn't matter what wall you use. I don't care. It can be whatever wall you want. We're going to make the walls of the bridge. First, we're going to open up Fantasy Battlemap 2.0. I'm going to type in wall. I'm just going to use a stone wall. Doesn't really matter what wall you like to use. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to make sure the opacity is all the way up, bring the size down, and we're going to basically create a frame around this. Let's say right about there. Make sure it is a layer above the clipping mask. I just want to give you forewarning. They need to be above. Okay, and let's put another one right here like this. Okay, sorry, a little slow to load. And let's go ahead and bring this up a little bit. Copy and paste that whole thing you just did, those two walls. Copy, paste, like this. Put it on like that. Okay, that looks fine to me. And then we're going to want to put in some posts at the end. Let's just use these stone. These are basically anchors that keeps the bridge from collapsing inwards. So these are like a kind of like a support at each end. Like this. Oopsie, they might have to go a layer up. I just noticed. Okay, select, go up one layer. And then I totally recommend that you select all those things. Let's select all this. Unfortunately, it looks like the lock turns off after you do a new, after you open and close the map. So here's our bridge. I'm going to group that real quick. Don't forget to rename it. Let's just do that. Good to have good habits, because I don't always take my advice like a dumb butt. Bridge. Okay, and you're going to have to make sure it's on the right layer as well. So you have this bridge. Now, if you put it over like this, you're going to notice that, boom, there you go. You have to put it up a layer so it's above things like this. And so we're going to put it right here. And let's just boost that size up so it kind of goes over the cliffs, because what we're trying to do is go over those cliffs, right? Make sure those clipping masks cover those cliffs like that. Okay. And you're going to want to make sure it's set to FG layer, because this is FG. And you're going to pick a stone texture or whatever texture you want. I'm just going to choose this cobblestone-like texture. Let's just apply it. Make sure that it works. Okay, so the stone's there. That's fine. All the way up. Softness all the way up. Let's just go over the entire bridge first so that stone is there. And since it's set to that FG layer, it might go over. So I'm going to change my softness, go against this edge so I don't accidentally bleed over this. Stay within the bridge. Okay, go like that, like that. And then you can bring that softness back all the way up, bring the opacity back down, and then start building your kind of a road that goes over to here like this, and there's a road that goes over like this. And that's how simple your bridge really is, how simple bridges are. And of course, don't forget, you absolutely have to do that ambient occlusion bit. So let's just do that real fast. We're going to add in some ambient occlusion. You definitely want to have it here where that bridge is. I think it's set to BG. Let me check. I think so. Yeah, it is. Okay. So you have to add a little bit of shadow so it looks like the bridge is hovering above the water. That's why you add a little bit of shadow there. And you want to have a little bit around the walls as well. So like a little bit around here like this, because you want that to stick out. And you can also add in some stairs, and I think we might do that as well. So let's add in that, and then that will be it. Okay, so you add a little bit of shadow, then we're going to drop it down, add in that tight ambient occlusion like this. And who knows what's going on with with this one? Who knows? Okay, is the shadow working? Yeah, it is. Okay, there we go. All right. Thanks for bearing with me here. I don't know what the story is for this bridge. I'm just going to assume that there's probably some baddies somebody guarding it, and they need to be taken care of. Who knows? Excuse me. Whatever you can come up with. I just wanted to make sure to show you how to make bridges. I'll also make sure to make a visual guide on how to make these as well. I think I have a whole bunch of guides on my profile. If you find them, they're in a particular style, so I'll make sure to show how to make these kind of bridges as well. Let's go ahead and add in some stairs. Just for fun. Type in stair. I'm going to use these brick stairs that don't have the railing on the side. I don't want railing on the side. Let's think about these steps, and I'm just going to put the steps lined up against Dora the Explorer. Heck yeah! Oh, I love Dora the Explorer. Okay, let's put that down there. Let's take a look. Nope, that's not going to work. I am going to have to change this to luminosity and turn off the shadow. Okay, so now I've retained some of that. Now the next thing to do is to maybe drop a little bit of the brightness. Those stairs are kind of dark, and you can also drop the opacity of stairs. Now dropping the opacity of stairs is really helpful, kind of helps it to make it look like it blends in better, but you do lose some of the ambient occlusion where the steps meet, and the way to fix that is just to boost up that contrast. Boom, there you go. Copy and paste these, line them up like this, line them up. And I think also we're going to have to also size these up just a bit so they'll fit like that. And so you have some stair, copy and paste that and put it like this across here like this. I actually don't like the stairs, so I might not end up keeping it at all. Sometimes you don't need it, just depends. I actually don't like the stairs, so I'm not going to add them. I'm fine without. And there is some other things that you can do. You can put some vines growing on top of this. You can add some stone, rocks, some pebbles just to break that, because what you have is this very straight line, and it doesn't really kind of look very good. So if you add in just some stones, just like we added this stone over here, these little stones right here. So because some of your bridge is going to fall apart. There's going to be erosion, whether it's wind, rain, the flow of the water, whatever, right? So let's add these stones in real quick like this. Just put in a couple along the thing. I think they might be at the wrong layer, so let's boost it up to layer 5. Right, so you have some rocks like this, and I'm going to strategically place them. So these are just stones that fell off. I know they're not really the right color. That's okay. These are stones that just fell off the bridge. So kind of just strategically place a couple like this, put some there, there, put some on the road, in the middle of the road. It's just to add a little bit more character to your bridge, and I think that will be it. If you got a name for this bridge, please put that in the into the chat. That is it. And don't worry, again, I'll make a guide on how to make that bridge. Let's just save. Now I'll make sure to make this map clonable, so check either my profile, the explore page. You can clone and edit this and kind of make whatever changes that you want to it. Don't forget that next week, next Wednesday, 10 a.m. PDT, that is going to be the last stream of the month. That is going to be on I think it's Fantasy. I think it's the watercolor styles. I believe. So both watercolor styles are going to be done in that stream, both cities and battle maps. So that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you check that out. Also, don't forget to click a like if you like that video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to also click that little alarm so that you'll have alerts so that you know when future videos are coming, because we want you to be involved. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please leave those in the comments, because we listen to you guys. So if you have suggestions, please mention them. I want to thank you all again. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe and healthy, and merry map making, world builders. Take it easy.